Royal George Hotel, originally built as the Royal Hotel, was built in 1903. The exterior of the building is almost intact from its original construction. In the context of Western Australia, we have lost a lot of our historic buildings. It's managed to survive in this pocket of East Fremantle particularly well. And it's been long loved by the people of East Fremantle. It was the people of East Fremantle who saved it from being demolished in the 1980s.
Since Stirling Highway got built, that cut East Fremantle in two, and the Royal George really became a focus of George Street only. And in the last 20 years, it's had a Thai restaurant in here, it's had artists in residence, but unfortunately in the last 10 or 15 years, it's just been boarded up, locked up and unused. It's sat here vacant, getting graffitied, things falling off it.
Something has to happen. It cannot go on being left the way it is, because it will continue to deteriorate and it'll start to fall apart.
I've lived in Fremantle for over 10 years, right near George Street. My name's Joel Saraceni. I'm a property developer, and our company Saracen Properties has been developing properties around Perth for over 30 years. With the heritage building, we obviously wanted to do a faithful restoration of it, but also it's about actually almost throwing the doors open again.
I'm an architect who lives and has worked in Fremantle pretty well the entire long career that I've had of sort of over 30 years. When the opportunity presented itself that Saracen asked me if I wanted to be involved in the project, I was overjoyed. The restoration is at the forefront of the entire exercise. So the external part of the building will become fully restored to its original detail. Internally, the building will be reactivated. The primary uses that will be inserted into the former hotel will be hospitality, bar, restaurant, which is so close to its original uses. And there are also sort of intermediate basement levels which have never really been accessed at all, which we're going to activate with more cellar door sales and hospitality spaces. There are many aspects to the project. There is the restoration of the former hotel, there is the improvement of the public realm, and then there's the urban infill opportunity which exists at the rear part of the site. It is the engine, I suppose, that will actually fund the many millions of dollars which will be spent on the original building.
The reality of restoring a big heritage building of almost 1,000 square metres like this is that it costs a lot of money, so it's going to cost somewhere between $5 to $6 million, which is why we're proposing about 40 apartments on the vacant land at the back, and that effectively pays for what the heritage building can't afford to pay itself.
So we looked at the context of the height of the original hotel, the former Swanbrush factory to the south, and saw that there was a sort of a similar height level between those two buildings, and that we thought that it would be logical to take that height as the datum for the street and sort of continue that down Duke Street. One part which is relating to the street, which is the podium, and one part which is separate and is a different scale of building, which is seen from the distance, but it's not the street experience. I think the other thing which goes very much hand in hand with that is the improvement and activation of the public realm, particularly at the end of George Street.
So I mean, what we're trying to do with the underpass is we're trying to create almost like a public square at the end of George Street, and also create an atmosphere within the underpass, and after you get through the underpass, that you want to be a part of.
At the moment, it's a fairly foreboding space. It doesn't feel very comfortable. Our proposal is for it to open the blank end of that with a staircase up to the west, and so that it engages with at the end of George Street.
That will help re-establish a connection between the two sides of East Fremantle that probably don't necessarily have much of a strong link at the moment, simply because they've got a major truck route cutting it in half and an underpass, which is the only major point of pedestrian connection. That's not a very nice place.
What the George does when it reforms part of the George Street precinct will, I think, sort of certainly enable and reinforce the sense of identity of East Fremantle for the people who live and visit.